Alright, budget magic time. Playing some Tamiyo Bant in standard. Alright. This hand's awkward, thanks to the Sanctum. But we do have a servant, so if our servant lives, this hand's pretty good, especially if we draw another land. So, Forest go. Forest for our opponent. Tune with Ether. It's an island. Well, play Sanctum, play a Servant of the Conduit, and pass turn. Island for our opponent, and passes. There's a land. Ether Hub. Oh man, I would love to get Tamiyo down. It's so risky though. Let's just get in with our Servant, and pass the turn. Leave up our Spell Queller. Opponent probably is not expecting Spell Queller from this mana. Ether Hub. Yeah, we'll... Oh. Well, opponent's not expecting Spell Queller for good reason. We can't cast it. There's Whirler Virtuoso. Well, let's draw a land here, I think. Play Lumbering Falls. Play Tamiyo. Tick up on Whirler and Servant. Pass the turn. Opponent does not have mana for a Marvel spin, and then we could steal the Marvel with Confiscation Coup. Opponent gets into Tamiyo. We get to draw a card. Another land is good. And opponent passes. Sweet. Well, play Ether Hub. Get an energy. Tick up, tick up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we can negate and Spell Queller if we attack. And we do get to draw a card, so I think we might as well. Another Servant. Yeah, let's pass. Leave up negate and Spell Queller. Opponent has Glimmer. Alright, we'll let that go. Opponent draws some cards, gets some energy. Plays a Lumbering Falls. Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. Sure. Gets into Tamiyo. We get to draw. Elder Deep Fiend's pretty sweet. Let's cast out. Get the Whirler Virtuoso. Opponent's gonna Thopter once. Well, play Servant. We need the energy here to be able to leave up our colored spells. Because we're drawing all this green mana. Tick up, pass the turn. This lets us leave up Spell Queller and negate. Another land for our opponent. There's Marvel. So let's negate the Marvel. Opponent negates back. So now we get to Spell Queller the negate. Which means there's not a very good card underneath the Spell Queller. Opponent passes. Well, let's attune. Grab an island, get some energy. Tick up, do some attacking. Draw a couple cards. Tamiyo coming through right now. Spell Queller and island. Play the island. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, stop on our opponent's upkeep. And Elder Deep Fiend, sacking our tapped Servant. And tap. Opponent cycles a Censor. We will get another Deep Fiend. Feeling pretty good, and our opponent scoops it up, taking down the monster, Temur Marvel. Whoo, sweet. Well, that is pretty much what we were looking to do. Spell Quellers, negates, even Dissenter's Deliverance, kind of set up to deal with a lot of what that deck's doing. If this is actually a good matchup, then we are in pretty sweet shape with this deck. And Tamiyo was super good. What are we going down here is the question. I think we might want the Wrath so we don't lose to the Thopter plan. Maybe go down the Ether Meltdown doesn't seem great. Maybe go up the additional negate for a Dissenter's Deliverance. Lifecrafter's Bestiary is an interesting option. I don't know what we take out, though. We already have a lot of good cards for this matchup, and we don't want to take out the cards that make this matchup good to bring in random cards. So let's run it like this. Alright. This is fine-ish. No way of dealing with Marvel directly, but possibly a fast Tamiyo. Opponent plays a land. Lumbering Falls, go. Forest for our opponent. And let's attune. Get a Plains. Play the Plains. Pass the turn. There's an island. And Tireless Tracker. I'll play the island. Play Sky Spawner. And pass the turn. Hopefully our opponent doesn't just Marvel here. Opponent gets a clue. Gets in with Tracker. We'll just take it for now. Harness Lightning on the Sky Spawner. And opponent passes. Well, play the Forest. Play Servant of the Conduit. Get in with our Scion. Hopefully next turn we can get down Tamiyo and leave up Negate would be sweet. Opponent pumping the Tracker. Confiscation coup on Tracker could also be super good. Lumbering Falls. Opponent gets another clue. So much card advantage. Gets in with the Tracker. Down to 13. Opponent passes. Well, play Ether Hub. Get an energy. Play Tamiyo. Opponent cracks the clue. Tick up, tick up. Get in with our Scion. Draw a card. And pass the turn. Opponent going after Tamiyo. Alright, we'll take it. So we basically cycled Tamiyo for a draw to gain 5 life. Not an insane Tamiyo, but not a horrible Tamiyo. Oh man. Another Tracker. These Trackers are getting out of control. Well, play another Tamiyo. Tick down on the Tireless Trackers. Play Lumbering Falls. Get in with the Scion. And pass the turn. We might just be playing towards a Wrath next turn. I guess it kind of depends on what our opponent does. Cracks a clue. Pumps the Trackers. Chandra. Well, that is not going to resolve. Negate the Chandra. Opponent's passing. We draw Forest. Now we have options. We can hardcast a Deep Fiend. I think we got a Wrath, though. Tick up, tick up. Attack with both, so we draw 2. See what we find. Spell Queller, cast out. Play a Forest. Huh. This is actually an interesting turn. So we can cast out plus Spell Queller. We can hardcast Deep Fiend. That might be our best bet. We can actually sack Servant to cast Deep Fiend and leave up Spell Queller. I kind of like that even more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's do that. So stop on our opponent's upkeep. And now we will Elder Deep Fiend. Sack the Servant. Tap a Tracker. Tap land, land, land. Opponent cracks the clue. Floats a mana. Opponent passes. That's fine. Censor. How do we want to do this? Let's tick down Tamiyo on the Tireless Trackers. Cycle Censor. Attack with both. Opponent's down to 8. Pass the turn. And I think we got it. We have 2 Spell Quellers in hand. Opponent plays a land. Gets a clue. I guess they can leave up Lumbering Falls to chump block. Is their best line. Opponent's passing. Well, let's cast out. So we don't just have the win this turn. Opponent negates. Tick up, tick up. Attack with both. Draw 2. Elder Deep Fiend. That's a draw. And a Rogue Refiner. Attune for a land. Get an island. Play the island. Stop on our opponent's upkeep. Pass the turn. Tamiyo's been so good, and this deck actually feels very strong in the matchup. Opponent glimmers. We'll let that go. So upkeep. Emerge. Sacking Elder Deep Fiend. Tap. Tap. Tap, tap. Opponent floats the mana. At 2 life, Harness Lightning. Well, we will Spell Queller Harness Lightning. And we have a second Spell Queller ready to go. Plays a land, gets a clue. Marvel. Do we let this go? If we Spell Queller, they can Harness Lightning, Spell Queller, Harness Lightning, Spell Queller. I think we got to do it. We came this far. We got to go for it. If they have a second Harness Lightning, things could go wrong. And our opponent scoops it up, taking down Temur Marvel. Tamiyo Bant. We found it. We found it. That didn't just feel like a good matchup. That felt like a dominating matchup. Whoo! Tamiyo Bant taking down Temur Marvel. Sweet. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, take a second and click that like button down below. It's a great way to help support the channel for free. And you can find the next video in the playlist right here.